Well, good evening folks. Sorry it's taken me so long to do this video. I was actually away at the weekend and I've been busy messing about ever since. I meant to talk about the Crawford fight Sunday morning after I'd seen it, but like I say, we were away, so between visiting family, travelling home, running around after the dog, going back to work, things like that, this is the first opportunity I've had to talk about it, so we'll get straight into it. Crawford versus Spence for the undisputed welterweight title. Fuck me. What an amazing performance from Crawford. Absolutely punch perfect. Just absolutely dominated him from start to finish. I scored the fight. I personally didn't give Spence any rounds. Because Crawford was just too good. I mean, he fought the perfect fight. He made Spence look ordinary. Now, I like Spence, I've admired Spence for a while, and, I thought to myself, before the fight, I thought, this could be a close one. I was picking Crawford, probably a close decision. I flip-flopped a couple of times, but I thought, maybe a split decision, maybe a unanimous decision. I thought it would definitely go all the way, and I thought there'd be little back and forth, moments in the fight, because my logic going into this was, Crawford's, he's 35 now. He's naturally the smaller man. He came from lightweight upwards. Whereas Spence was a natural welterweight. He's pretty, a career welterweight, naturally bigger man. So although Crawford's great, and I always thought he was great, don't get me wrong, I thought that Spence would give him more problems. But from start to finish, Crawford just dominated him, and he never seemed to get out of second gear. That was the amazing thing about the performance. And the right hook out of the southpaw stance was what was working for him. I mean, that was his honey punch in that fight. And he was great combinations, the jab, everything. He was bamboozling Spence. When he dropped him in the second round with the straight left, sort of right combo, he dropped him. I thought, this is getting interesting now. Let's see how Spence reacts to this. You give him credit. He got up and he was trying. Although it was very one-sided. That was my wife sneezing in the background there. He was trying and he was giving it a go. And a couple of times he pinned Crawford against the ropes and let some body punches go. But nothing he did bothered Crawford. Terrence Crawford just shrugged it off. As I say, he never seemed to get out of second gear. He didn't need to. And then in the round 7, he dropped him twice with right hooks. And by that point, Spence's face was getting a bit mashed up. He was bleeding. And when he went down the second time in that fight, I thought, right, if I was his corner man, I'd think about pulling him out a little bit, because he was getting roughed up in there. And of course, in the 9th, Crawford unleashed that sustained attack. And referee Harvey Dock had to stop it, and a few people bitched about the stoppage. He should have let him continue. And I thought, look, for what? He hadn't won a round. He was 3 extra points down because of the 3 knockdowns. He was busted up. He was bleeding. Was it? Yeah. What's the fucking point? So I thought it was a good stoppage from Harvey Dock, and. Now Crawford is the unified welterweight champion. He's the second man, which amazed me actually thinking about it, to hold all 4 versions of the world title in 2 weight divisions. I mean, some of the females have done it. Obviously, Claressa Shields has done it, Amanda Serrano, various others. But the first male to do it, and that sort of blew my mind a little bit. To hold them simultaneously. I thought, right, yeah, he's right, because he did it at light welterweight, and obviously he's done it at welterweight now. So there was talk of a rematch, that invoking the rematch clause from Spence. I personally don't think it's necessary. I think it'd be more of the same, and I think actually knowing that Crawford knows that he could put him away if he wanted to, it probably wouldn't last as long. Maybe, Crawford might just want to go out there and make a statement if it does happen. I don't personally want to see it again. Admire Spence. He was brave and he tried, but unfortunately he just fucking wasn't good enough. And give him his credit, it was refreshing to hear him say at the end of the fight, better man won. And that was basically it. Terrence Crawford is the better man. And obviously this has brought up the whole mythical pound for pound list debate. I've said before, I don't tend to go in too much. I don't place too much stock on the whole pound for pound number one thing because it's subjective. It all depends what you like and who you like and what you think is a better accomplishment than somebody else and blah blah blah. So, you know, just for argument's sake, yeah, he's probably up there. He probably is number one. Who again, it's subjective. Everybody's got a different opinion. I mean, it strikes me as strange on Tuesday after Naoya Inoue's big win over Stephen Fulton. Everyone was saying he was number one pound for pound, bar none, and now they're saying a few days later they're saying, oh, it's Terrence Crawford. I wouldn't argue with anybody who said either of those two were pound for pound number one, to be honest. Yeah, it really, really lived up. Okay, it was a one-sided thing, but at least it wasn't. Yeah, because I was frightened, as I've said before, that it was going to end up being another Pacquiao Mayweather, a bit of a fucking, bit of a damp squib. You all the build-up, all the tension, all the expectation, and then not a lot really happens. The same with De La Hoya and Trinidad years ago. Yeah, because we're always looking for that, that classic welterweight, bout like Hearns and Leonard and Duran and Leonard, and and of course with those other two big fights, which at the time were the biggest fights in welterweight history at the time, we didn't get it, but we got it this time. I mean, it was a good fight. It was it did a lot of good for boxing. It was the two best of their era in the weight division fighting each other, and yeah, I'm very pleased. I would imagine, judging by what I've seen going on since between Charlo causing a bit of a ruckus, I would have thought that the next step would be, if the rematch doesn't happen, which I don't think it should, the next step will probably be Crawford moving up to 154 to fight Charlo for all the belts there and make more history, because I think he could beat Charlo, but yeah, we'll see. Where Spence goes from here, I don't really know. I saw some stuff online yesterday from a source which I don't know whether he's a reliable source or not, claiming that he's seen that Errol Spence has got residual neurological damage from that car accident he had in 2019. I don't know. I don't know how genuine it is. I don't know if it's just people just saying stuff just for the sake of saying stuff. Anybody on the internet can say anything they want. This is the trouble with the internet. And no one seems to fact check them a lot of the time. They just go with it and believe what they say. So, but if Crawford does move up and vacate, I could imagine Spence would be in there again with a chance of picking up the belts again. So, no, it was a good fight. It capped off a perfect week. Obviously, we had Inoue on the Tuesday. We had this fight, and it ended the month on a high as well after so much bullshit that happens in boxing, politics and announcements that annoy people, and Tyson Fury's antics, and all that kind of gibberish. But no, it restored my faith in the sport again. And also, on a bit of a sad note, in my opinion, it wasn't unexpected. Nonito Donaire on the undercard failed in his bid to break another record, because he wanted to be break his record for being the oldest man to win the WBC bantamweight title. Obviously, he lost a unanimous decision to Alexandro Santiago. I mean, Donaire, he's got to be 40 now. He's got to be my age. Yeah, and he gave a good fight. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't dominated. He wasn't blasted out of there. He was just outworked. He gave a good go. I say he did give a good count of himself. He landed some of those powerful left hooks that knocked Santiago back a little bit, but overall, he just hasn't got it anymore. And I think it's time for him to hang them up and get out of there, because he's been around for a long time. Like I say, he's not a young man anymore. And like I say, he made history the year before last when he beat Ubali for the WBC title. He made that, and he gave Inoue his hardest fight of his career back in 2019. So I'd like to see Donaire, walk away now, and yeah, that's all there is to say about that, really. But right, well, that's it for me, folks. Hope you are all doing well, and hope you all enjoyed the fight. And I'll speak to you soon.